There is a new fad in town. Marriage, not for me. I just want to have a baby and live my life. But whose baby will that child be? First, what is forcing this fad on the Nigerian society? Just like same-sex marriage, which the West is pushing on the world, single motherhood is migrating from New York to Nene, and the culprit for this new fad? Pursuit of career and the good life it brings, and the pressure on polygamy. So, no girl today wants to hear of being a second or a third wife, even when the prospect of a respectable and stable married life is sure, and my man is nowhere to be found.
If they feel fulfilled, respected and honored in the responsibility of actually taking care of children and bringing up an individual, more women will be willing to actually take that responsibility. Unlike, because it's not a honor thing. Hey, you're a housewife, or you are only, it's not a honor thing. So a lot of them just wants to go for the career, go for all the other things, struggling with the men, because they feel that that's where the prestige is, as against, if I have brought up a very good child, my prestige is in that child, because my honor is placed on that child.
To whom does the child of a single parent belong, since he or she does not have an institutional father? The child answers the name of our mother's father, but is he really his child? The question opens a bigger issue, even in a formal and legitimate family. Between the man and the woman, who owns the child?
From different passages to the Bible, a mention of children in the Bible is hundreds of times. And a number of times children were mentioned in the Bible is actually associated with their father. But there are a lot of instances also shows that ownership is attributed to the mother when it comes to bearing the child. They said Sarah did not give birth to a child, and so she was worried about this. But we could also understand that even Sarah herself was saying that she will want to bear a child for Abraham. Herself being a mother was actually concerned about giving a child for her husband. So by what she is saying, even as a woman, she's attributing the ownership to the husband. So there are a lot of instances in the Bible, you see a woman crying for a child. But at the end of the day, you will hear the same woman saying, I want to give birth to a child for the man.
Islamically, the woman, she's having the upper hand, because the father rank is around number 5 when we talk about the arrangement of those that can take care of the child in a state whereby there is problem between the husband and the wife. So the first person is the wife, which is the mother, except if that mother is not responsible enough to take care of that child, thinking that the child should be given to her, maybe something bad or negative may happen in the upbringing of this child.
And so the children are ascribed to the man, and the religions decree so. Outside of religion, our patriarchal society gives the children to the man. And so there is a Barack Obama, a Winston Churchill, a Vladimir Putin, and a Muhammad Buhari. But in reality, does the man own the child? And in contributing to the makeup of any human being, does the father play so much role as to be ascribed the ownership of the child?
A child that is not good is for the mother. So the mother owns a child that is not good, but the father owns a child that is good. But the question people would ask is, who trains a good child and who trains a bad child? Who? It's the mother. So the father is just taking and identifying with something that has been trained by a woman as his own, like you said, by mouth.
It is taken for granted that a person's genealogy should be drawn along the father line. And so A begat B, and B begat C, all father lines. There is, however, evidence, both psychologically and medically, that though the physiological makeup of a person is 50-50 between father and mother, the emotional makeup of every individual derives more from the mother than the father.
Again, if you go back to psychology, the woman owns more power on the life of the child than the father. If a child is, so let's look at adverse childhood experiences. When the woman is the one who has the problem, the child is more likely to grow up damaged than if it is the man who has the problem. So if a woman has a mental health issue and the man has the mental health issue, the woman would affect the child more. If a woman is being beaten in a household where there is domestic violence, the child grows up with a problem. If it is the man that is being, dealt with in the marriage, the children will still struggle and struggle. Maybe he's a man, he should be able to have power over himself. So a woman owns more power, and I think that's why I agree with you that women should be more empowered, because they are the ones who make up the society.
No, I disagree. The woman's contribution to making a child is not dominant. There has equal, even the man is the one that determines the sex of a baby. For example, if a woman is pregnant and is going to have a child, a male child, the man contributes the Y chromosome that makes the child a male. So the man determines the sex of a baby. Having said that, on the matter of intelligence, I doubt it. I debate it, even though there are studies to prove that. In my own case, and those of my siblings, we picked our intelligence from my dad. Perhaps because my mom was not as educated as my dad. But even naturally, I knew my dad has this native intelligence, even with or without his education. So that is debatable. There are reasons why children are more emotionally attached or bonded to their mothers than their fathers. For instance, while in the womb, the child is carried there for 9 months. The father has no role to play. And the child gets used to the sound beat of the mother, of the hands of the mother. So much so that when the child is delivered and the child is crying and the mother carries the baby on her chest, the baby says, "This is home," because the sound of the hand becomes familiar. Then, having said that, the child is also fed. We doctors, advise mothers to put their babies to the breast as soon as they are delivered to create a bonding. And this bonding goes on for 1, 2, 3 years. Besides, the father doesn't play, an active role in raising the children, because most times, most fathers are absentee fathers. They leave home in the morning, they return late in the night. So there's no time to impact their own, behavior, attributes to the children. So the children, because they are closer to their mothers, they tend to pick up their characteristics more than their fathers. So it does not in any way, detract from the fact that the father is the owner of the child or contributed equally to the making of that child.
So, is society fair to glorify the man than the woman? And why do people not answer Dr. Abdullahi Rukayat or Chief Mwabweze Ngwanze? Mothers' names are surnames.
Part of the world, in Nigeria, we adopt the patrilineal system of inheritance. In places like Ghana, it is a matrilineal system. Now, there's a reason for adopting the patrilineal system, because we here marry our wives. We pay the bride price and do all necessary rights, and then you become our wife. So the product of such a union should be owned by the man who has It's like when I invested in a company and it comes out, and the profit comes out, I should benefit. So that child belongs to me, not to somebody else. Who I settled the parents before I married home.
I'm not saying mother does not have a part. They are also part owners. I'm not saying that. But the major owner, the majority shareholder and minority shareholder, the majority shareholder of the child is the father.
Maybe with the fad of single motherhood catching up, and with both medical science and psychology identifying the mother as contributing more in creating individuals in society, the mothers may have it, getting their due for all they do for society. And so here come Bola Ahmed Magaji, Peter Okute Agnes, Jeremiah Obafemi Mary, and Benjamin Nnamdi Rachel.